first flew business class using credit cards at 16 years of age.
So I used to see my uncle and aunt travel in business class always. This was when I was 5, 6. They said majorly it's our work trips. We have our points, so we never give our own cash. Growing up, I started learning about points that I want to fly business class one day. At the age of 16, I think I got my first card. That was the Kingfisher first credit card. I and my mom, we both could get ourselves upgraded to business class.
So it's been what, 13 years now since you've been using cards? Any idea how many business class trips you have taken?
Around 25, 30 maybe. After Kingfisher crashed, finished, it was like a heartbreak because I'd collected about 500,000 miles. All just gone. I was like, okay, nothing doing, no credit card, nothing. 7 years later, Access Vistara Infinite came, and then the journey started again.
Paavan, let's talk a bit about bad experiences.
Because of my disability, I'm visually impaired, I can't see, right? So 99.99% times my card application is not even taken. The agent says, sorry boss, your card application can't be taken. कई बारी video KYC reject हो जाता है. They says, look into the camera, I can't see. Every time I've been able to fight it out, right to the top management and then get it. But यार कई बारी ना वो effort versus gain वाला वो फाइट हो जाती है. देन यू लाइक भाड़ में जाए, मेरे को लेना ही नहीं कार्ड. वो थोड़ा पर्सनली भी हिट करता है ना तुम्हें कि तुम्हारी डिसेबिलिटी की वजह से मैं कार्ड डिक्लाइन कर रहा हूँ.
Today I have Paavanpreet Malhotra with me, and we're going to have a conversation about credit cards. Hi Paavan.
Hi Ankush.
Thank you so much for doing this.
No, miles is a passion. It's more than anything for me. It's a passion. I can study on miles. I can work to collect miles till even 2 a.m. at night. So
Awesome. I think that's something we both share then.
yeah.
Great. So Paavan, what do you do? Tell me a bit about yourself first.
So I am currently, just consulting, freelance consulting.
Okay.
I was into finance, so did my MBA from FMS and graduation from SRCC, and then worked for Microsoft for about 2 years, and then just right now just looking for something and side by side just freelancing.
Okay, great. How did the passion for credit cards start?
It's a very, very interesting story. I'll keep it short for paucity of time, but yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I used to see my uncle and aunt travel in business class always, and I was like, boss, I want to travel. When I was a kid, this was when I was 5, 6. So okay, then I asked them, how do you guys do it? They said majorly it's our work trips. Others are we have our points, so we never give our own cash. It's either through work or because of work, or we have our points. So then growing up, I started learning about points that I want to fly business class one day, and then learned about the whole ecosystem on credit cards. And at that time, Indian credit cards were also 3-4 years later, when I was 10, 11, Indian credit cards were not really did not have much about points and all. So I started learning, reading about it, and at the age of 16, I think I got my first card. That because before that, we in my family no one paid an annual fee.
Okay.
First card that I got, that was at the age of 16 with an annual fee. That I convinced my father, obviously because I was a student then. So I convinced him to take. That was the Kingfisher first credit card.
Okay.
And I and my mom, we both could get ourselves upgraded to business class. So that was the first redemption that I made.
Oh, awesome. So you first flew business class using credit cards at 16 years of age?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. And this uncle and aunt you talk about,
Yeah.
so they did they live outside India?
Yeah. They were in the US.
They were in the US.
Yeah, they were in the
So they were using US credit cards?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I see. Cool, yaar. And so it's been what, 13 years now since you've been using cards?
Yes. 13 years since my first points wala thing.
Okay.
Yeah, cards though, it's been more than 15, 16 years.
Okay, great. Any idea how many business class trips you have taken since then, since the first one when you were 16?
Okay. Around 25, 30 maybe.
Oh, wow.
And it stopped for about 7 years. So after Kingfisher crashed, finished, it was like a heartbreak because I'd collected about 500,000 miles.
Oh.
And all just gone. I was like, okay, nothing doing, no credit card, nothing. 7 years later, Access Vistara Infinite came, and then the journey started again.
Okay.
So yes, around 25, 30.
So there was a hiatus for 7 years.
Yes. No, I was heartbroken.
Understood. Yeah, anyone would be after collecting 500,000
Yeah, because
miles.
my dream was to go round trip Delhi, London, Delhi, 3 tickets.
Okay.
And I just reached that number because वो उतना spend हो गया card पे. And the airline stopped its operations. King miles 0.
Okay. Any trips that you're excited about?
Okay, so I managed to get a Q Suite redemption
On Qatar Airways.
On Qatar Airways, yes.
Okay.
And This is in June to the US. So I'm really looking forward to the flight.
Okay. Can you give some idea around how much that flight costs in money and how much you paid with points?
So in money, I mean, probably you would be a better judge. North America, Doha to North America, but I think one way will be around 2.75 lakhs.
Yeah, that would
if
be
I'm
my
not
guess.
wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this I got for about 70,000 points. Qatar was a direct partner of Amex, so I could just get it 1:2 ratio. So 140,000 Amex points is equal to 70,000 Qatar points. That was the redemption roundabout.
Okay. So basically, you got a value of like somewhere a little less than 2 rupees per point.
Yes.
Per Amex point.
Yes.
That's absolutely amazing.
But one thing was crazy, finding award seat availability and how to book. That was really crazy. So let's see in this, I mean, probably some startups are doing something around this. And let's hope if we can sort the availability out, like finding award seat availability. For example, what North Star is for me, that if I put in, like, for example, I want to go from Doha to New York and, on so-and-so Qatar Airways business class or whatever, and it gives me an award calendar rather than me going to search for each award seat separately, right? It gives me an award calendar. This is the dates, the seats are available.
I see. I know of a few startups that are trying to do this, both in India and outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think exciting times ahead.
Yep.
Cool, yeah. So, any other exciting story of how you've redeemed points for some exciting stuff?
There have been numerous things, right? I've gone on holidays, vacations with family. So basically, my thumb rule is if I have to pay for a trip, unless it's an emergency, I don't do it.
Okay,
It has to be on points.
that's a good rule.
So yeah, barring emergencies, yeah, I always take tickets on points, Vistara or whatever. And yes, one exciting thing that I did last year was I celebrated my birthday on point. This was maybe in the month of July. I was able to get room at like 5-6 rooms for my friends at a hotel, and yes, that was all. I mean, we could just celebrate it without paying anything, and breakfast was included, and so I just have to basically pay for one meal and that's it. The birthday was done. It was even cheaper than having guests over at home. We were about 13, 14 people, if I'm not wrong.
Oh wow! I mean, doing your entire birthday party for free via points is definitely an amazing perk.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I think that is an expense that a lot of people are scared of.
Yeah.
Amazing story, man. Amazing. Paavan, yeah. So for new users, people who are getting introduced to credit cards for the first time, one big concern is that they think getting credit cards means increased spending.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, do you feel the same?
You know what? In today's times, people are lured by limits and everything. But sitting here, I have a huge limit. But right now, if I don't have a proper job or something, I'll not splurge na, that I'll have to have that kind of control.
Right.
If someone's not credit of course is easy, right? But if someone has a 50 lakh FD, he will not just go one day, hey, I'm going to break this FD and spend, right?
True,
So if when you're swiping your card, you have to make sure that you are not, you're just using it as cash. I mean, you need to know that you need to pay this. I always track my expense. Like if I go at least more than once a week to my whatever app, whatever card I'm using.
Okay.
And I track it that how much, because I have to pay at the end of the month. So it doesn't work like that. You can't just be irresponsible. So it has to be. Many people are irresponsible. That's the sad part. But no, if you spend responsibly, I don't think it's. Credit cards have really helped. I pay over 1 lakh in credit card fees every year. Okay.
Right.
But I make sure I recover at least 5 times of it.
Right. So that's what I also tell everyone.
Yeah.
That it is easy to get carried away.
Yeah.
Once you have a credit card, because the money is not going from your pocket at that point.
Yeah.
But it requires just a little bit of discipline. You don't need to go crazy and maintain everything in an Excel sheet and everything.
Yeah, no. I've never used an Excel sheet for limits. For points I may have used, definitely, and what card to use. But for limits, no. It's a clear rule. यार मेरे को जितना उसमें expenditure है उतना I need to pay.
Yeah, and another simple rule to go by, I think, is कि जो खर्चा आप वैसे भी बैंक अकाउंट से या यूपीआई से करने वाले थे
वो आप क्रेडिट कार्ड से करो, वही कार्ड से करो.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And getting 10-15% returns in the form of free travel is fairly easy, I believe.
Yeah.
Paavan, I mean, you are a power user, I would say, right? You've been using cards for so long. So as a user, what do you think is broken in the experience of, getting the right cards to then using it to then redeeming the points for stuff that you want? In that entire experience, do you think something is broken?
बहुत scattered है. It's very very scattered. Like I really need to hunt how I can make more points. Like 99.99% of people will not even know to go to a gifter or a reward multiplier to get 5x or 3x points, whatever, right?
Right.
They won't even know. They will just no one will even load their Amazon Pay. They'll just be going like tuck 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 order on Amazon and just pay by credit card.
Right.
That's the max that one could do and say, hey, I use a lot of credit card. But no, you have to really know that, okay, I need to go to gifter, buy the Amazon voucher. So there's a lot of research that needs to be done.
Right.
This should be fairly easy. That's on the earning side. On the redemption side, people really don't know what best use they can make of their miles, right? So coming back to the Q Suite experience, one was availability. Second issue was how to redeem. First go through American Airlines, then go through your, should I take my Marriott points and get them to American? Or should I take my Amex points and get them to Qatar directly because it's a partner, right?
Yeah.
But वहाँ पर taxes were high.
Yeah.
Because Qatar में थोड़ा सा tax का होता है.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
But American में there's no tax involved.
Right.
So yeah, I mean all these things, there should be a much easier way to find information on what's being what we have to do.
Right.
I mean how to redeem points, right? To put it in better words.
Understood. So Paavan, when you and I started, so even I started my credit card journey about 14 years back.
Yeah.
And you also similarly quite some time back, right? At that time, the credit card industry in India was in a different shape.
Yeah.
There weren't as many great cards, right?
Yeah.
And it has changed quite a bit now.
Yeah.
So so we took 10, 12, 14 years to reach where we are now.
Yeah.
But I think people who are starting on that journey maybe will not need that many years.
Yeah.
Right?
See, there are. Sorry. I'm
No worries. Yeah, go on.
Here.
Yeah.
But there are positives and negatives. Pehle, the only thing that was good was that you did not need to think about, okay, is this transaction going to earn me points? Except for fuel, everything was earning points back then.
Right.
Even utilities, right?
Yes.
Now the biggest thing when you're going ahead for any transaction is, hey, is this transaction going to make me earn points?
Right.
Yes or no?
Right. Yeah, that's a very fair point. That way also things have changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think that is, I mean, it's part and parcel, right?
Because
the usage has increased.
The usage has increased and people are now, so see, the thing is, banks will also come to know at some time that, hey, basically it's an advertising thing only, right? That, hey, if you spend so much, you'll get so many points, right? But when everyone starts using it, it's a loss for the bank, obviously.
Right. Yes.
So things will, banks will obviously cut corners when it comes in the public domain that, hey, people are spending so much and whatever. So the transactions are ineligible or whatever, right? They have to make such arrangements. So.
Right. And also, so what I have seen recently is talking about all the devaluations that have happened.
Yeah.
So banks have been trying to cut down on manufactured spending. Yeah. So earlier we used to get points on rent payments as well.
Yeah.
But then banks realized that people are using that rent payment facility to just cash their credit cards.
Yeah, to cash the credit cards, which now I don't know. What I would expect is maybe if there's a way that some app can really verify my rent agreement and do it, because genuine people are getting hit by it. Like I pay my rent through this through cred only.
Right.
But I'm getting hit because now I'm not getting points.
Exactly. That's true because of some people who are trying to game the system. Even the genuine spenders.
Yeah.
So Paavan, what I wanted to ask was for people who are now getting on the journey, for someone who is getting their first card now.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to them? How to get started about it?
So first would be probably just to select the right credit card.
Okay. And how can someone go about that?
The only thing is you can probably just research on what credit cards are there in the market and what matches your spending and what do you want to redeem for.
Right.
Like when I took the Vistara card, I really liked the USP that it's going to give me business class tickets and it's going to give me a gold membership.
Okay.
That's it. So that's why I said, okay, gold membership means upgrade vouchers and spending by business class tickets.
Right.
So you have to stick to something, like one thing. So if you do that, then you can probably decide what card do you want. Like my personal favorite right now is Atlas.
Mine too.
It's cheap. It is not very expensive.
Yes.
So I've just started on the Atlas journey. Let's see where it takes me.
Okay.
But yeah, you really have to know where you're spending and which card gives points on that transaction, because there are cards that don't give points on rent transactions, there are cards that don't give points on taxation, there are cards that do. So you really need to research hard and then decide what card you want and start the journey. And sometimes you might even have to take a secured card, because the credit building is not very strong in India. Like people who are not exposed to credit, they've like NH, so no bank would even give a card to them.
Right. So I really like how you put it. So basically, for someone who's starting on the journey, how I take it is, you need to know where you're spending, what your spends are.
Yeah.
And you also need to know what your goal is, what you want to achieve with it.
Yeah.
Because if someone is not interested in travel, not everyone is, right? Then maybe a cashback card would be more relevant.
Would be more. When the money back, you get just 5% on Amazon. So you just order everything on Amazon.
Exactly.
Right.
Or SBI cashback card, 5% flat on everything.
On everything.
Online. So you said Platinum is your favorite, American Express Platinum. Let's talk a bit about that, because I also hold that card.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm not a fan.
Okay.
So I want to understand why you like that card so much.
One is clarity. They really know what they're doing, right? So if you call up the customer care, ask something, 99.99% they will have an answer to that.
True.
I don't want to name banks, but there are banks that customer care doesn't even know. You tell them, hey, your product does this. Now, for example, so if I call up and say any bank, right, and ask them, hey, will I get points on a tax payment through this credit card?
Yeah.
They will not know.
Right.
And if I call up Amex, then I probably will, there'll be someone to attend to this query.
Right. So you're saying you are a huge fan of their customer service.
Yeah.
That's something I can totally agree with.
Yeah.
I think
experience that it gives you, sometimes you get 1.5 times your Marriott Bonvoy, right? 1:1.5.
Yeah, with Marriott they give amazing value.
Yeah.
That's true.
So Marriott Gold and that. So before this, if I met you 1 month before, I would have said Access Vistara Infinite is my go-to card, my hands down card, because gold membership, business class tickets.
But it has been devalued.
Gold membership gone. So and the business class tickets are only valid for 9 months.
Right.
So it doesn't give me, and finding a ward seat availability is a pain.
What's the weirdest thing you've purchased with your credit cards?
I got a card through my credit card.
Oh really? I've been hearing that like way too much nowadays. I want to know how much extra did you end up paying?
I did not. I said I'm not going to buy the car if you're going to charge me surcharge.
So you didn't pay anything?
No, I negotiated the deal, and when the down payment time was there, I said, okay, here's the card.
Okay.
And the merchant ka jo accountant type, whatever that person is who takes the card and swipes it, she said, sir, there'll be surcharge. And I looked at the lady who was assisting me do the deal, and I was like, seriously? And she said, well, waived, done.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So no extra charges?
No extra charges.
What card did you use?
I used Vistara Infinite.
Oh, I see. Understood. So now, Paavan, let's talk a bit about bad experiences.
Yes.
I'm sure in your long history with credit cards, you've had some bad experiences. Yeah.
So, obviously, the one that I talked earlier about, Kingfisher.
Yeah.
That was a heartbreak.
Okay.
Definitely. And the second I would probably, talk about much in detail. That is because of my disability, like I'm visually impaired, I can't see, right? So 99.99% times my card application is not even taken. The agent says, sorry boss, your card application can't be taken. I won't apply for a card for you.
Wow, okay.
और कई बारी video KYC reject हो जाता है. They says look into the camera, I can't see. Now the video KYC gets rejected or gets declined. Sometimes they call me up and say your photo में आपकी आंखें बंद हैं. So I was like, yeah, I can't see, I'm blind. So they declined the application, and then every time I've been able to fight it out, right to the top management, and then get it. But यार कई बारी ना वो effort versus gain वाला वो फाइट हो जाती है. देन यू लाइक भाड़ में जाए, मेरे को लेना ही नहीं कार्ड. वो थोड़ा पर्सनली भी हिट करता है ना तुम्हें कि तुम्हारी डिसेबिलिटी की वजह से मैं कार्ड डिक्लाइन कर रहे हैं. बार बार तुम कितना फाइट कर लोगे और कितनी फैसिलिटीज़ के लिए फाइट कर लोगे.
Right. So they're not declining it because they find you more risky.
No. They're just process gaps.
Okay. So just because they don't have the right processes.
Yeah.
कि वो KYC for a visually impaired person they're not able to complete KYC.
KYC या कोई एजेंट का मन नहीं होता एप्लीकेशन लेने का, उसको लगता है रिस्की है, कुछ हो जाए, अटक जाएगा. बिकॉज सी देयर आर वेरी वेल फ्रेम्ड पॉलिसीज ऑफ द RBI विच स्टेट्स कि आप कोई भी फैसिलिटी आप मना नहीं कर सकते. Like I was denied a locker by the bank. Okay, I'm just deviating for a second.
No worries.
And इसने मना कर दिया कि मैं they had a smart vault facility and they said no, we won't do it.
Smart vault, so basically it was accessed by biometrics.
Biometrics, yes.
अच्छा, okay.
Yes. So they said they won't do it. ये वो बड़ा पंगा गया. मेरे को ब्रांच बुला भी लिया. It was a high end branch and then they refused at the last minute. जबकि मैं पहले openly बता देता हूँ सब कुछ. So उसके बाद I wrote to the MD directly.
Achha.
And got sorted. It took 15 days. They said this is the first case that we're doing. I said you take your time, but you can't just say no. It's fine. You need to develop processes. So, and then I got it finally. But problem वही है, processes हैं, but people are not aware. Aware भी है तो उनको लगता है यार एक blind बंदा कैसे use करेगा card.
Wow, that's prejudice, to say the least.
But ऐसे I've had, I mean, 99.99% cards don't work out. Like I applied for a credit card right now, and I think maybe I should name the bank. It was Axis, and I've been a user with them since a long time. Maintained a very good relationship with the Vistara Infinite card. I wanted to get the Atlas card. They said, well, we can't take your application because you're visually impaired. Again, I would have had to fight it out, right? I had to fight it out. हो जाता, but मेरा वो mail shoot करने का मन ही नहीं किया. मतलब I was so disappointed.
I mean, I think Axis Bank is also at a loss here. They're losing trust of a very valued customer. I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, see, it's just one email ID that I need to shoot a mail to, but why do I have to do it always, right?
Yes.
Why do I always? ये improve कब होगा?
And there should definitely be feedback mechanisms, right? If a case like this has come up once, why should it come up again and again?
Again and again, right? Yeah. Now, one positive example I have is, right, recently, I mean, earlier I used to use my father's Amex Plat, right?
Right.
Now, I recently got my own 2 months back. Seamless video KYC. The guy knew I'm visually impaired.
Okay.
Obviously, he could see, right?
Yeah.
And seamless process. The guy said, okay, I'm going to take your photo. I'm going to ask verification questions here. You can't ask for some help from anyone. Then later when the PAN card ka photo lena hota hai, so the guy said now because you're not able to focus the camera on the PAN card, you can show it, give the phone to a family member to assist you to do the.
Wow.
He was considerate, yeah.
That's good to hear actually.
And pehle Amex is also buggered up. Okay, it's not that they're not buggered up. They have ki eyes are closed and all that, but they've improved. They've
improved their processes. Yeah. That's what we expect from all banks actually. Yeah.
Other than this, maybe one more thing: if banks or merchants at large can keep in their minds while designing apps and while designing credit cards, make processes accessible with our software. So we have softwares which speak everything which is there on the screen, right?
Right.
And we have to make sure that is accessible by our app, right?
Right.
Otherwise, so there are examples that don't work with my app. For example, like my favorite Amex, the reward multiplier doesn't work with my app.
Right.
My software, right? And the HDFC Smart Buy doesn't work. So I really have to then rely on other things. Sometimes these guys are at loss because I can't use their app. Sometimes I have to ask someone for help, which is crazy.
Right. So they need so the banks and merchants need to focus on accessibility as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't add that much cost to it.
Right.
Seriously.
Right. Because the features are already out there.
Yeah.
You just have to enable your app for it, right?
Yeah.
Understood. Great. Yeah. I think Paavan, if someone is listening to this, someone in the right position, maybe they'll do something about it. Yeah. I hope that happens. I'll try to make it reach as far as possible. So thank you so much, Paavan. It's been really nice talking to you, man.
Same here, Ankush, and all the best for the next phase of Multiply.
Thank you so much.